Imagine a pregnant woman has sought refuge in a foreign country to the land of her birth. Her husband dies fighting the occupation. The child is born an orphan. Then years later, the occupier says the child can't return, can't visit his father's grave, his ancestral home. As hurtful, the government where the child and the mother found refuge agrees they can't go back. Now imagine the kid is Ukrainian. No Western country or leader would ever tell that kid he can't go back to the Ukraine. Israel says this to every Nakba Palestinian wherever they may have been forced out to. To remain Jewish, Israel is adamant that Palestinians will never return. We know that we will return. Israel sees UNRWA's validation of the Palestinian identity and right to return as a threat to its ethno-nationalist racist state, and has for decades sought to vilify, defund and dismantle UNRWA. Israel exists in the way that it does as an apartheid state because of the impunity the West gives it. Diplomatic cover, media cover, sporting and cultural cover. Racist colonial countries and colonizer countries like Australia were founded in the same manner Israel was founded, right down to the lies they said about the land. On this continent, the term was terra nullius, nobody's land. In Palestine, as we know, Zionists claimed it was a land without people for a people without land. Even with all we know, with just how embedded Western imperial racism, how invested it is in this colonial enterprise, I'm ashamed to admit I was surprised. Mere moments after the International Court of Justice ruled that it was plausible that Israel was committing genocide. Genocide, the deliberate killing of a large number of people with the aim of destroying that nation or group. That mere moments after these words were uttered, the West and my government's response to plausible genocide by Israel was not to sanction Israel, not to demand an immediate ceasefire, dispatch humanitarian aid or peacekeepers, not the colonial West. Our automatic colonial response to Israel's allegations is to pause UNRWA funding. We will stop aid to Palestinians when the people of Gaza need it most. In 2016, Mohammed al-Halabi was accused by Israel of diverting funds to Hamas. World Vision and the Australian government's reviews found no evidence to support the charges. Israel provided no evidence, but still Mohammed al-Halabi was convicted in Israeli court and sentenced to 12 years in jail. This latest evidence is supplied by the same Israeli crew that bought you beheaded babies, weaponized claims of sexual violence, that they didn't kill the 4 Abu Bakr boys as they ran across the beach in Gaza in 2014. They didn't shoot Mohammed al-Durra in 2000. They didn't bomb the UN compound in Cairo in 1996. And if you suggest otherwise, well, spin the wheel. You guessed it, you're an anti-Semite. Given Israel's form, given that it has weaponized the most basic essentials for life in Gaza, and that it is facing grave and serious genocide charges before the highest court on earth, why would we give these allegations any credibility? It's beyond shameful. In Gaza today, UNRWA represents the only lifeline the population has, from food and shelter to care and hope. This support and the courage and persistence of Gazans are literally the only things keeping the population from perishing under these unimaginable conditions. With all the ongoing violence, it's important to remember that for Palestinians, UNRWA offers lifelines to our identities. The agency not only advocates for Palestinians and their right to return to their homes, but it also acts as a safekeeper of historical family records, allowing grandparents and their children to ensure their Palestinian heritage is accounted for, recognized, even in our exile. And this is why Israel and its accomplices, a compliant West, demand that UNRWA is killed off. The racist notion that a 2,000-year-old claim for Jewish right return is not only superior to a Palestinian's 75-year right return, but also that the Jewish right is exclusive and negates ours. This funding freeze is most immediately an attack on more than 2 million Palestinians, among them our loved ones in Gaza. It's a threat to their very survival and safety. It's a betrayal of our shared humanity. We must defund genocide, not UNRWA.